Te mana whakawā.
I call Marama Fox, 5 minutes.
Thank you, te mana whakawā. You know what, Mr. Speaker, I really want to work with this government to support the establishment of oranga tamariki in a way that is beneficial for all New Zealand. I do. And I know that the members on the opposition also want to work to secure the future of our most vulnerable children. There are a number of things that just give us grave concern, and this is one of them, the sharing of information. Now, the Minister spoke about whānau ora being an example of where information is shared, but let me tell you the clear difference is that whānau ora navigator comes and sits with the whānau and asks them, what do you want? How can we assist you? How can we make that happen? And then who do we need to get involved in order to do that and navigate the bureaucracy that has become our system? Now that is clean because it works with the whānau, and if there is information to be shared, they are fully aware. And it benefits their purpose and they understand what it's going to be used for. What is happening here is a collection of information that is going to follow those people around forever, and I'm not clear, it's not clear to me what information they're asking for. Is it just their name, just their address? But even then, if it's coming from somebody, like they've pointed out, who said, if I had known that my name would be passed on to other people, I would not come. Mr. Speaker, last week I had the opportunity to travel with the Justice and Electoral Select Committee to Australia and attend the Royal Commission of Inquiry into the institutional response to children who have been sexually abused. We had a moment to speak with the Chief Commissioner of that inquiry that has been happening for 5 years. And he said that on average, if a male has been abused, it takes him 30 years to build up the courage to present and tell their story. On average, if a female child has been abused, it takes them 20 years to front up and tell their story. Talked about the statute of limitations being moved. If there is more pressure put on people who are voluntarily trying to fix their own pathways because of the sustained abuse that they've had in their past, that information might inhibit them coming forward, then that cannot happen. And I know that the Minister has said we're going to put that section on hold. We're on hold for what? On hold for how long? I don't want to be overly damning because I actually want to go and help. But we need to be on the same page. And sharing information from one agency to another when it is to the detriment of those people who are involved is not something that we can sign up to. There are a number of small objections that we've had along the way, and I know the intent and the heart of the Minister is very real. I know that. I've sat and spoken with her and I get that, but there is definitely a difference of opinion on how we come to the end point. Now, it starts with the vulnerable tamariki, or vulnerable children, oranga tamariki. The logic behind that name would have us call the Ministry of Health the Ministry of Sick and Dying People. No, the logic behind that name would have us call the Ministry of Education the Ministry of Dumb Folks Who Need Some Learning. There is no logic behind that. Surely we must be aspirational, and in being aspirational in the information that we share, and if we say the child is at the heart, then the whānau that surrounds them also is at their heart, and we are tarring people with a brush for risk profiling so that we can come in and save them from themselves before they've even presented with an issue. Have some faith in our people. Stop breaking families apart. Put support around them. That's what whānau ora is. That's what we advocate for, and that's what we're asking the Minister to do. Thank you.
I call Poto Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.